Good morning, Stampin' friends, and welcome to my first Stamp With Me session. This is pre-recorded and hope to be doing lives at some time, but for those of you who are close and follow me, you understand, and I appreciate that. And on that note, I would like to get started. It is Saturday the 14th of October, and it is a dreary, rainy day, so it's a great day to stamp. So I had previously listed all of the supplies that we were going to use for our Stamp With Me session. So I have them all right here. Here's our designer paper. 4 inches in length for all 3 of them, and then we have one cut at a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 1/4. So I'll just set those over there. Then we have a choose a punch or just a strip of paper for your sentiment. We need an embossing folder. I am using the Christmas Tidings embossing folder for my card. So I'll set that right there. And you will need some coordinating embellishments if you like. Plus you will need your inks and your usual stamping tools. And what I mean by that is your bone folder, a scissors, and all your goodies that you keep close by, Stampin' Dimensionals. We have a cardstock layer. This will be one of our layers. That is 4 1/4 by 3, and I am using Cherry Cobbler because it coordinates with my designer paper that came from the Joy of Noel, which is the stamp set I am using today. So we're using that sweet little bundle. All right. And then, of course, our card base, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/4. I'm sorry, 5 1/2. And then I have a 4 inch by 5 1/4. This is the one that we are going to emboss. And as I said, I was embossing that with the Christmas Tidings embossing folder. So I'm just going to start with that right away. And there it is. And I tucked it in up on top because our 4 1/4 by 3 inches is going to cover up a lot of this. So you could choose a different one if you'd like. Anything you have, fun little embossing folder. I lined it up on the line to make sure it was nice and straight and grabbed as many sentiments as I could. If you look closely at this, you'll notice that it coordinates with many of the sets in the mini catalog. So there you go. You have the trees, you have the presents. There's a stamp set with the gingerbread man, and there's also one with the little ornaments here. So this folder really goes with many of these sets in the mini catalog. So here it is, all completed. Just make sure to follow your instructions on your die cut and emboss machine, and you'll get a perfect embossed piece every time. All right, so we are going to begin here and fold this over. You could score that at 4 1/4 if you'd like. And then I'm just going to burnish it with, of course, my other tools are sitting at the big table, so I'm just grabbing what I have right here on my little table. And many times I use my blocks as a thing to give myself a nice crease there to burnish. So I want to attach this piece . And you can do that with either the Stampin' Seal or your liquid glue or whatever you use to attach. I am going to use the Stampin' Seal. You could also use your dimensionals and give this a little pop up. I am not going to do that at this time. So I am making a landscape card, which means it'll set like this instead of portrait, which is that one, which I do have another one that I would like to show you when we're all done making this card. So you got that beautiful texture there for your card, and we are all set to bring in our cardstock layer. Okay, we're going to do that and grab our designer series paper here. And this will set right here until we get our papers on. Again, for this one, you could use your adhesive or your glue. And I'm going to start adding this right here. Give myself a nice border. There we go. And I'm going to go with this one. Put that pretty green right there. You know what? I'm going to hold off with that one and do my sides first. And yes, you can see this piece is the double-sided piece. But I want the green to show, so we'll put our adhesive on this side. So how is everybody doing so far? Hope you can keep up. Don't forget, you can always stop the video and attach. And I noticed I just ran out of adhesive. So let me grab that. And we will get that refilled. Ooh, I have a brand new cartridge. That works too. I like to have a couple around. There we go. A brand new one. Pop that off. I already got adhesive on this. So we'll put that right in there. Let me see if I can. I didn't push that down too hard. I noticed I'm over quite a bit here. There we go. Let's create a little space. Get our third one in. There we go. All right. So now, once you have all your layers of your designer paper on there, you are ready to place this on here, and then we'll be doing a greeting. We're starting out quite simple on this first one. I like clean and simple lines, so you'll see a lot of, I wouldn't say super simple, but, you know, this time of year especially, everybody's in a hurry, so to make cards, I know some of us make very special cards for very special people, and then we do some other cards as well. So, many. I have quite a few people who are up over 100 cards they make every Christmas. That is a lot, and I applaud you all. I love it when I see people using their stamps and embellishments. I am going to center this right in the center. And as you know, I popped that up with the dimensionals. You get a nice look at all that beautiful texture. And then we get dimension when we pop that up. Alrighty. Now I think what I would like to do is grab this stamp set, and I am going to pull the Noel out of there. I think that's what I'm gonna go with here. And we will grab the ink. And this is just a scrap piece of paper. And then I'll be hunting down probably a circle punch. So let's open this up. Here we go. Brand new pad, so it's quite juicy. So most of the time I do mine like this, because you have a little more control when you're tapping the color on versus pushing the stamp into the color. So I'm going to get this on here, put that one off to the side. Just letting the ink soak into the paper a little bit so we get a beautiful image. There we go. And I got my punch right here, and I'm wondering if that's not just a little bit too big. Let me see. I got a smaller one. Is that 2 3/8 as well? I don't want to grab a punch that nobody has, so. And I'm trying not to bump my camera as I grab this. I'll have to show you my setup one of these days. Oop, I still got a little wiggly, didn't I? All right. This is the 2-inch. Nope, too small. So, back to this one. And it just kind of fits in there. So we'll just grab that right like that. Get our Noel on there. And I think that looks pretty good. If you want, I know some people like to add a little color to the edges, and you could easily do that with a sponge. I don't do that as much as I used to. Just tap your sponge into there and then just add a little bit of color around the edges. And I'm kind of going straight up and down, so I'm not actually bringing a whole lot of color onto the piece itself, just basically on that edge. And that'll give it a little distinction. And then this I am going to put directly onto our piece right here. I'm going to grab that corner. And then we are going to tuck another dimensional underneath this piece and this piece. And you can do that freehand. I do it all the time, because that way you know exactly where your pieces are going to be. Slide that right under. There we go. So there is a quick and easy card. I also had pulled out the Making Spirits Bright, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to place my greeting down here, but I went with the Noel instead. So there is our card. Super simple. And I would love to see what you guys are making. You can send them either through my Facebook page, or you can post it right in the comments section. You could even email it to me, and I will I will post them all. I think that would be fun. And then, as I stated earlier, I wanted to share a portrait style with you. And on this one, I use the Merry Melody embossing folder underneath. So I had musical notes, and I rearranged my paper a little bit differently. And I die cut the Noel on this one. So you could even do that with these and have a little bit more color instead of just cutting out the Noel from cardstock. So 2 different ways to make the card with the dimensions you have. So now you have a fun pattern you can use for any kind of card. You could do birthday cards with this, or whatever you fancy. So just 3 strips of designer paper and your 4 1/4 by 3 inch base there where we use the cherry cobbler, and then just add a greeting and you'll have a fun, easy card. So I thank you for joining me. And again, I would love to see your cards, which ones you made, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.